2007, 6:30 p.m. concerning the following petitions. We have no continuances. The first one will be new business, and we have a letter here from Flood and Hardigan. They want to, and that's for the petition on, which one is it? It is 109 Tyler Park. And they're looking for a continuance for the amount of time is, Mr. Flood, is what, 30 days? Or?
Yeah, to the, yes, I forget the date, but yes, about a month.
What's our next meeting date, 30 days from now? July 23rd, Vezna saying?
July 23rd is the date, yes.
July
that's the date,
23rd,
yeah.
okay.
That's the date.
Okay, I think we have a few people out here that that are interested in this petition. Before we do continue this, I'd like just to find out how many people are here on this petition for 109 Tyler? There's got to be at least 15 or 20 people here for that petition. What Mr. Flood is here, he wants to continue this for 30 days, and if I'm not mistaken, to reach out to the neighbors and try to get a meeting together with the neighborhood and
with the neighbors and the Friends of Tyler Park to discuss various alternatives that could be used. So that's what we would like to do.
Okay. Well, it would be the wish of the boards. I can't say whether we can do it or not. Any questions from the board? Anybody have any input? Want to? Go ahead, Jack.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, has there been any meetings prior with any of the neighbors?
No, there hasn't.
Okay, so the only information they currently have is a notice they've received?
That's why we'd like to do that, yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Go ahead, Vezna.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The other question I have, is this a historical site?
Yes, whatever, if it was ever a house to be built there, yes, they'd have to go through that whole process
Would you
separately.
have to go before the historical commission?
Yes, the plans would have to be presented if there was a house to be built there, yes.
So part of the extension is also give you an opportunity?
No, we're not, we wouldn't do that until we knew we had a buildable lot, but I think we want to talk to the neighbors about various alternatives that might be available for the site.
I see, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Gary?
No, I think it makes sense for a continuance. It's unfortunate. There's a lot of people here tonight who are probably ready to speak, but I think it makes sense if you have a meeting and you can address them all together, and they can bring up their concerns to you, Attorney Flood, and probably you'll have something to tell them as well. So I think it makes sense for continuance. I'd probably support it.
Any questions? All set? I agree. I think to meet with the neighborhood is always the best thing you can possibly do. I do have a lot of concerns about the site, so I just in 30 days, so if we do meet.
I didn't think 2 weeks would be enough, so 30 days would be good so we can discuss various alternatives.
Are you going to contact the people in the neighborhood? Is there any certain individual that's going to be spearhead this? Pat, will you be involved with this at all? Do we have the time? This young lady over?
She's the next door neighbor, so
Okay.
she knows me. But I thought we would do it through the Friends of Tyler Park, and they can give us the
Okay.
names and set
All
it
right.
up that way.
Is there anybody here from Friends of Tyler Park tonight? Okay.
Yeah, so we will contact, what's his name? Jay Mason. Who
Okay.
guess is the
I know
chairman,
Jay. Okay.
And
All
set
right.
it up that way.
All right, great. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue this for 30 days, and that's going to be the July 23rd meeting. You will not be notified. It'll be right in this room at 6:30 p.m. So if you do want to speak your piece, make sure you're here at 6:30. And if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to call our office, and we'll try to answer whatever questions you have. In the meantime, Mr. Flood's going to try to reach out to Mr. Mason, set up a meeting, and Mr. Mason will try to hopefully get the neighborhood together and have a meeting and come back to us 30 days from now. Does everybody understand? Any questions? Okay, I need a motion.
I second.
Call the roll, please.
Continue.
Continue.
Continue to July 23rd.
Continue to July 23rd. Again, you won't be notified, so July 23rd is the next meeting, 6:30 right here. And if you, either way, if you work it out, don't work it out, please come by and we'd like to hear you speak your piece and whatever, in favor or pro or against.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next one we have is Annalisa Peterson, 63 Aberdeen Street, to construct a greenhouse or solarium lacking sufficient side yard setback in accordance to Article 5, Section 5.1, Table of Dimensional Requirements. Okay, we're going to need you to sign in. Is there a sign-in sheet at the podium?
Yep.
Okay, if you can sign in, please, and state your name and address, and tell us what you'd like to do over at your household.
Should I sign first?
Yeah, please, why don't you do that?
The pen's dying.
Okay, we'll get it later on then, okay?
Okay.
Why don't you state your name and address?
My name is Annalisa Peterson at 63 Aberdeen Street in Lowell, and I want to, thank you, tear down my existing porch and extend it out about 1.5 feet to put a sunroom enclosed solarium, and it will go. It does not go into the driveway, but it goes about 1.5 feet closer to the driveway. And I guess according to the current, the building itself is quite old, and according to the current statutes, I don't think half of it's supposed to be there. So I have sent in the various forms that are needed. Is there anything?
We have everything here, yep. We have your plot plan and all your forms. We have everything, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody here who'd like to speak in favor for this petition? In favor? At 63 Aberdeen Street? Anybody in opposition? Opposition. Okay, hearing none, and I'll open it to the board. Mr. Knox?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Went out to the site this afternoon. We met the petitioner. She has an affinity for flowers, as was obvious by the gardening around her home. The structure that she's asking for permission to build is a typical greenhouse that does not appear to infringe significantly on any of the neighbors. I asked her specifically if she had reached out to the neighbors. She has done so. There are no neighbors here in opposition. All that being said, that I think I would be in favor of this. I think it would be a nice addition, not only for her, but also to the neighborhood.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Knox. Mr. Noon, you all set? Mr. Geary?
I guess my only question is, do you have any landscape plan for the side of the proposed greenhouse that's going to be facing the abutter? I guess if you're facing your house to the right?
Yes, I'm going to be taking out, there's a row of hosta that are about 2.5 feet wide. 1.5 feet of that would have to go, and then I'll have a narrow row to have probably something on the order of hosta, but narrower.
How high will that grow? Let me tell you
the
why I'm
plants?
asking. Right,
The
the
plants
reason,
themselves would probably be small potentilla or something on this order, trying to keep it from infringing on my driveway, basically.
right. It just doesn't look like a porch like that is really conducive to having shades or anything inside of it. The whole purpose, I imagine, is to let
The
sunlight
yeah,
in.
Yeah.
Now, inside the porch, is that for plants or is that a living area?
It's basically going to be for warmth in the spring and fall and for growing seeds in the spring. I wouldn't be using it during the depths of the winter
Right.
or in the middle of the summer, but it would be basically for just hanging out space, not,
Right, and I only ask because I'm thinking of, a privacy buffer between your neighbor, looking directly into, an open,
yeah,
window type frame,
yeah.
and I guess that might defeat the purpose of what you're using it for, to let the sunlight in. So I don't know what, if you planned on some...
I'm not planning to use it for primarily living space. I'd be going out there probably having breakfast, but I wouldn't be spending all my afternoons in there, for instance. It's for growing plants. It's basically for seeds and for my cats to sit out in the spring there'll be knee kickers that they'll be able to sit on.
Okay, does that affect your driveway that's there now?
No, it'll still be about 1.5 feet short of where the driveway is.
Okay.
And there'll still be a small area for
Okay, I'm
plant.
all set.
Donna, all set? Okay, I got a question on the driveway. It looks like it's going to be a 9.6 driveway. Mr. Camacho, is that, what's the code for the driveway? Is that going to be wide enough? Does she need a variance for that, or while we're here? Or?
What are you referring to on this plot plan?
Looks like she's extending the porch out with a solarium. She's coming out a little further than what the porch is. And it looks like she's coming out another 1.5 feet anyways.
Right, and it also
And-
appears that she's coming forward.
Yeah,
Right. And now her driveway is going to
The-
be what looks like 9.6. the
I
width
haven't
of it.
visited the site, but based on this, it doesn't appear that would affect the
Okay,
driveway.
as long as it's not a problem. I have no other issues with it. I don't think it's a big problem. I just want to make sure she's going to be covered with the driveway the way it is. That's all. Okay, I'm going to need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second by Ms. McMahon. Call the roll, please.
Approve.
Approve.
Approved. You've been approved with 5 votes. You need to come up to the table and sign some paperwork before you leave.
okay. Sign where, sorry?
Sign some paperwork right
Up
here.
here?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we have Club Lafayette, 465 Father John Sorrentis Way, to expand an existing non-conforming use in a restaurant, private club, and a UMF zoning district according to section 4.5, non-conforming uses instructions. Mr. Flood.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, James Flood, 81 Bridge Street, Lowell, representing Club Lafayette, Inc., own the property at 465 Father John Sorrentis Way in Lowell. With me tonight is Larry Valcourt, who's the manager of the club. I think most of you are probably familiar with it. The club was originally incorporated in 1913, so it's been around Lowell for many years, and the present site was acquired from the city of Lowell back in 1946. We're before you tonight requesting a special permit to expand an existing non-conforming use. I think if you've been in it, you've seen it. There is a kitchen in there, and there's a function room, and they have used it for parties. What they would like to do is do a complete renovation of the kitchen and expand it, and to put some tables in to make the function room into a restaurant, to better serve both the membership of the club and also the general public. As you can see from the plan, there's plenty of parking for this, and I think it'd be a great addition to the property. In order for this board to grant a special permit, you must make a finding that the proposed new use shall not be substantially more detrimental than the existing use is to the neighborhood. And I think that's probably an easy decision to make, where it's basically the similar use that they are proposing. So Larry's here to answer any questions. They've just done a major renovation on the inside of the property, so this will go along well with that renovation. So I'd urge this board to approve that special permit request.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody here like to speak in favor for this petition, in favor? Is anybody in opposition? Opposition? Okay. Hearing none, we'll open it to the board, see what kind of questions they have.
Will the club hours change at all, Counselor?
No, they will not.
Okay, so everything is basically going to remain the same. The outside structure is still the same. It's an internal renovation and expansion of the kitchen, correct?
Correct.
So it doesn't actually change the footings at all of the outside of the building?
No, sir.
Club hours are going to remain the same?
Yes.
What about signage? Any additional signage or reference to the fact that you now have a kitchen?
On the front of the building, there's a signage there now that says Club Lafayette on there, which we might put
Restaurant Lafayette or something like that, so.
All right, thank you very much.
Mr. Valcourt, can you state your name and address just for the records?
Yeah. Larry Valcourt, 121 Norris Road, Tingsboro, Mass.
Okay, thank you. President, any questions? Okay, so in other words, the restaurant's going to be inside the existing building you have now.
Yep.
Hours aren't going to change to what you have now. Maybe a little bit of signage. Is the club going to run the restaurant, or are they going to sublease it to somebody?
We're going to try to lease it to somebody.
Okay. You have anybody in mind? Anything picked out yet?
We've been talking to Scotty over at the Cobblestone. He's probably interested, and another gentleman in Tingsboro. We have an
Okay.
Italian restaurant.
Okay.
Who's interested?
Well, I have no problem. You have plenty of parking. You have the plan that you have over here. You have more than enough parking. So I have no problems with it. Mr. Geary? Donna? All set? Need a motion? Do you want to say something?
I make motion to approve.
Seconded.
Second by Mr. Knox. Call the roll, please.
Approve.
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 It's basically. Yep. You're all set. I'll talk
We need you to sign some paperwork.
Thank you, Jim. Yep.
Thanks. Okay, Larry. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, next we have is Brassy Development Corp., 106 Marginal Street, to allow off-site parking in UMass parking lot for proposed UMass Lowell students' housing according to the table of parking requirements of section 6.1.4.
Mr. Chairman, I could do it from here and then go over those plans if the board wants to see it, or however you want me to proceed.
Do we have a mic over there? If we have a mic...
Yeah, all right,
why
I'll
don't you
go
grab
over
the
there.
mic and you can do it right over there, and
Okay.
this
I'll
way
go
the
over there.
cameras will pick you up and they'll be able to hear you at the same time. Yeah.
Okay. Whoop. Except to kill myself. For the record, James Flood, 81 Bridge Street, Lowell, Mass., representing Brassey Development Corp. With me tonight is Jim McClutchy from Brassey and Dennis Scannell. I want to make the board aware also involved in this project is Princeton Properties. We've reached a tentative agreement with the University of Lowell to construct a 6-story dormitory on the vacant now parcel located at 117 Marginal Street. You people all probably remember it, the old GE building. Which is this old building that was there. That's now all torn down, but that's the location of this development. Brassey and Princeton Properties will construct the development, and the University of Lowell will manage it like a regular dorm that they have at the university. The final plan of the design inside has not been completed yet, but I can tell you, and this is what we reported to the planning board, that we will have between 1,000 and 1,128 beds, and under the existing zoning, you need 1 parking space for every 2 beds. So in this situation, we need a minimum of 500 and a maximum of 564 parking spaces. The site plan as proposed and approved by the planning board provided for 324 parking spaces on site. 111 of those are located within the garage, and 213 are in the parking lot. I think we also presented to this board a letter from the University of Lowell indicating that they will provide us with all the necessary parking required to meet the City of Lowell zoning ordinance once this building is complete. So if we need the additional 100 and so odd spaces, the city will provide those on the south campus lot, which is right across the railroad tracks from this proposed building. We're requesting this variance because of the wording of the zoning ordinance. It's a little different. Under section 6.1.64, it says, in case of a dormitory of a non-profit educational institution, required parking may be provided on lots no more than 1,500 feet from the dormitory along a traveled way. Well, there's a question whether, although the university will be managing it, they don't own it. So are they a non-profit educational corporation? The parking lot where they're going to provide us the additional parking is only across the railroad tracks, which is probably 100 feet away. But if you had to go by a travel way, you'd have to go down Marginal Street, up Middlesex Street, up Pawtucket Street, and then up Broadway to the parking lot. So it's more than 1,500 feet away, although it's just across the railroad track. So because of the scope and the size of this project, I feel it's best that we request, all of these variances because of what they're going to develop there. So just to be safe, I'm asking for these variances. But at the planning board, there was a representative of the neighborhood that was there, and it was presented to the neighborhood, and they endorsed it. The planning board has endorsed it, and I think this is as I said to the planning board, this is a win-win situation for the city. It's going to provide for housing that's necessary for the people at the university, because there is a need for it. Plus, it's going to provide taxes for the city. If the university built it itself, then it'd be tax exempt. So, but this is what was there before. This is what it should look like when constructed. We are dealing with the railroad. We're going to have a walkway across the railroad tracks to come down at the parking lot where at the pickup, the bus pickup in the parking lot, so they can bus the students around the university to make it convenient for them. The units will be in suites, 1, 2, 3, 4 bedroom suites. They'll have a kitchenette. And these are just some of the plans we presented, but I think it's been, the university is excited about it. My client's excited about it. I think the city's excited about it because, like I said, I think it's a win-win situation. And I'd ask you to favorably vote on this request. I have copies for all of you of the final decision of the planning board that was filed with the city clerk. And as you're aware, on any request for variance, you must include the planning board conditions in the variance. So we're here to answer any questions. We'd like to proceed because time is of the essence to have this ready for the fall of 2008. We're here to answer any questions.
You answered a couple of questions I had. Number one was his taxes. If the city was, if the university was going to own this or not, if the city was going to get any taxes out of it. But you answered my question and said the developer is going to own it. Is that correct?
We're going to lease it.
They're going to lease it out
Yeah,
to this.
they're talking a minimum of 30-year lease at this point.
30-year lease. Okay. And the university is going to run this, maintain this, and police it. Is that correct?
Right. There's going to be 2 security offices in this building itself. So
Okay.
it's going to be run like a regular dorm at the university.
Okay, all right, but it's going to be owned by a private developer.
Owned by a private developer, yes.
It sounds good to me, right now I have no other questions. I'll open to the board and see what questions they have. Mr. Knox, we'll start with you.
I had a quick
Go ahead, Bob.
question. What were you referencing in the code, Jim? for
11,
parking?
I got it right here, Bob. I think that's it. My glasses on.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Counselor, the question I would have, that one of the third entity you mentioned, aside from the developer and also University of Lowell, was Princeton Properties.
That's the property, yes.
Could you clarify their position in all of this?
Well, they're going to be involved in the construction. They have a great history of building multifamily residents in the city, and they're a good partner for Brassi. So,
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I know they're a big company, a good company in the city here, the Princeton property, so, yeah. Ms. Moon? All set? Mr. Gary? Ms. McMahon? All set? Okay, I have no other questions. I think it's a great project. I'm going to need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Second by Mr. Gary. Call the roll, please.
Approve. Approve.
Approve.
Approved. It's been approved with 5 votes. Good luck. I think it's a great project. Yeah.
Hi, brother.
Okay, we have other business. We have a Merrimack Real Estate Development, 725, 741, and 749 Merrimack Street. Excuse me. Request a 6-month extension of variance or special permit previously granted to property located to allow the conversion of a former church condominiums insufficient lot area dwelling to provide off-street parking and the same at 749 Merrimack Street.
Good evening. Attorney James Harrington, 133 Merrimack Street, representing the developer. What's happened, this was a variance that was granted just about a year ago. My client, we haven't been able to complete the purchase of the property yet. What's happening is, the church has been working with the historic with regard to removal of certain artifacts with the church, and there's also been some delays with regards to just removing some of the interior artifacts from the church. So right now we're on a lengthy extension to our purchase, waiting, trying to work with the church to get everything resolved, but we're looking for the 6-month extension so we can at least complete the transaction, hopefully go forward soon. And that's...
Okay, is there anybody here like to speak in favor? Yes, sir.
For the record, my name is Mark Goldman, 58 Oakland Street, Lowell, Mass. Wish to be recorded in favor of this.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Goldman. Anybody else like to speak in favor? In favor? Anybody in opposition? In opposition. Okay, nobody in opposition. Before I turn over to the board, I know we approved this almost a year ago. I thought it was a great project, and Mr. McGowan does a great job. I know just by hearing different things with the Archdiocese, I know they work very, very slow, and I have no problems with it at all.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I concur. I remember when the project came before us, I think everyone here at the board was quite excited. And again, as the chairman has stated, the length of time it can take to get through the bureaucratic paperwork with the Archdiocese, unfortunately, apparently is going to slow you down, so I would be in favor of the extension, because I think ultimately it will benefit the city.
Okay, if everybody's all set, I'm going to need a motion.
Motion to approve the extension for 6 months.
Motion to approve by Mr. Gary, second by Ms. McMahon. Call the roll, please.
Approve the extension?
Approve.
Approve.
Approved. I've been approved by 5 votes, the extension for 6 months, and before you leave, we need you to sign some paperwork.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I need someone to, we're gonna go into executive session. I need someone to make the motion to go into an executive session. Mr. Gary thinks he's gonna make it, he's got, go
I
ahead.
make the motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation, public discussion of which may have a detrimental effect on the city's position.
Okay, anybody want a second?
I second it.
Okay, everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, chair votes yes. Did you want to add something to that motion?
Yeah, I think at the end of the motion, we'll reconvene. We will not reconvene.
Okay. All right. Have we got everything down now? All set? All right.
We need to get up, so it's...
You have to tell him to shut up, Frank.
Yeah.